At the heart of this conversation is the concept of trust. Now, trust is the foundation of any healthy organization. It's what allows leaders and followers to create mutual strategy. I'm Dr. David Leitner, and welcome to the Doctor's Den. Today, I want to focus on creating a culture of trust through accountability in your organization. One that doesn't just rest on the shoulders of leadership, but engages followership as a strategic counterbalance to leadership bias and to a leadership-centric focus. At the heart of this conversation is the concept of trust. Now, trust is the foundation of any healthy organization. It's what allows leaders and followers to create mutual strategy. And when strategy and trust align, it creates an environment where accountability doesn't feel like policing, but more like a shared commitment to excellence. To build this culture, we need to reframe accountability as a collaborative effort. And it has to follow three main principles. One, we need to create mutually clear expectations. Now, normally when we talk about expectations, it's top down. We're going to talk about that. Two, it has to be a bidirectional, transparent communication channel. That is to say, communication has to be very clearly both directions, not just top down. And number three, you need to implement a Q&A culture for followership. So what do I mean by this? Well, let's dive into each one. Accountability begins with clarity. Without clear expectations, trust erodes, and people feel like they're being held accountable for moving targets and for unclear or fuzzy expectations. Now, leaders often assume they've communicated expectations well, but that's part of what leadership bias does. That's when leadership bias is at play. Leaders often view goals through the lens of their own knowledge, their priorities, and it can lead to gaps in understanding between the leaders and the followers. And this is where followership comes in. Followers should feel empowered to seek clarity and ensure that expectations are truly mutual. For example, if a leader outlines a project and one of the strategic followers might jump up and say, hey, I just want to make sure we're aligned. Could we clarify the timeline or the key outcomes you're looking for? In doing so, followership takes its role in creating that mutual strategy. When followership steps up to clarify expectations, it fosters trust. The leader knows their message is landed, and the team feels more confident in the direction that they're going. And it builds a sense of mutual accountability. We both know what we are responsible for. So accountability starts with setting the bar clearly and having both leaders and followers take responsibility for defining that bar together. If followers don't take this step independently, then leaders need to find a way to encourage it by asking open-ended questions and opening the floor for clarifying questions. Is there anything you want to clarify? Is there anything we need to make sure of that, so we're on the same page for timeline, goals, the tasks at hand, mission, authority, whatever. So now clarity is only effective if communication is transparent. Trust thrives in the light. It can't live in the shadows. But too often, leadership-centric organizations treat communication as like a one-way street. Leaders giving orders with the expectation that followers are going to execute. But this model doesn't work because it silences the voices of those closest to the work, the followers. And transparency means creating spaces for open dialogue where everyone has access to the information they need and everyone understands what's the best way to communicate with each other, leaders to followers, followers to leaders, and followers to followers. So for example, think about a team that's navigating any challenge. If only the leadership team is privy to critical data, then the rest of the organization is left guessing, or worse, making decisions based on incomplete information. But there's more to it. Leadership bias often creates a command and control structure and culture. Instead, we want to move to a culture where followers understand the leader's intent. Now, it's going to be a whole different subject on its own, commander's intent, leader's intent. And we want them to have a clear understanding of the lines and expectations of communication and also boundaries of authority. Followership plays a critical role here. Followers need to be encouraged. They need to be encouraged to ask for context, raise concerns, and offer insight. Leaders in turn have to share. They have to share openly. Even when the news isn't so great, They need to make sure that people understand what is going on. Building transparent communication channels trust, and it fosters mutual respect. Leaders demonstrate trust in their teams, and followers reinforce that trust by engaging in meaningful conversation with the leader and with each other. So what about a Q&A culture? Where's followership there? And the answer is that's where followership really shines. When you create a question and answer culture where asking questions is not just okay, but is encouraged, followers don't ask questions, they can challenge assumptions. They'll seek understanding and they'll contribute their ideas. It's not about questioning authority. It's not question authority Q&A, but questions and answers. It creates a clarifying alignment, and it develops a culture of innovation. So for instance, a follower might ask, I noticed this decision aligns with one of our goals or one of our objectives, but it seems to deprioritize another one. Can we please explore how to balance both? Or can I understand the new priority and what trumps what here so that I know what I need to work on? They're not challenging authority or the leadership. They're asking to make sure that they are within the bounds of what leadership wants. And when followers are encouraged to question constructively, it does two things. It counters leadership bias by bringing fresh perspectives to the table. Leaders need to understand that they have a bias in what they can see and what they can, the information that they can take in. So they can't see everything. And followers often have insights that leaders overlook. And number two, it shifts accountability from being a top-down process to a shared mutual responsibility. Followers take ownership by engaging with decisions, not just following blindly. So a Q&A culture also shows that trust is reciprocal. Leaders trust followers to ask meaningful questions, and followers trust leaders to provide honest, deep, full answers. And vice versa. So creating a culture of trust through accountability isn't just about holding people to high standards. It's about empowering people in the organization to be a part of the strategic process. By setting clear mutual expectations, we eliminate ambiguity and create alignment. By establishing transparent communication channels and lines of communication, we ensure trust flows both ways. And by fostering a Q&A culture for followership, we challenge leadership bias and we engage everyone in the pursuit of excellence. Accountability becomes a shared effort when trust is at its core. Leaders trust their teams to rise to the occasion, and followers trust their leaders to create an environment where they can thrive. So, I'd like you to riddle me this. How are you creating a culture of trust through mutual accountability in your organization? This is how we counter the leadership-centric focus of most traditional organizations and build a workplace where everyone, leaders and followers alike, can contribute for lasting success. If you'd like to learn more, I've uploaded a blog on my website. You can check it out, www.drdleitner.com. And thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, comment, share, so we can build a culture of trust and accountability together. See you next time. Thank you for joining us in the Doctor's Den. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hope to see you next time.